Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod with Anas Niaz with us today. He's Chief Visionary Officer and co-founder at Bionics. He's Forbes 30 under 30. We're going to talk about robotics and prosthetic arms today, which is what Bionics is about. This podcast is brought to you by podfire.com. That's my podcasting company. If you want to launch your own podcast and scale it and monetize it, go to podfire.com. Anas, welcome to the pod. Tell me a bit more
Thank you.
about yourself and your business.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me in your podcast. I belong from Pakistan, and in 2016, I started a company with my co-founder Wais about helping industries to develop their own local products. And in that time, I received a random email. In that email, there was a 5-year-old boy. The family mentioned that he was born without a hand. And they asked me that, can you guys make a prosthetic arm for our little boy? Because they couldn't find any solution in Pakistan. So we thought, okay, let's give it a try because we are robotics engineers and of course we love to do robotics and if changing life, then we would like to take that spot. When we met that boy, so he had a very small stump, and we had few 3D printers. So he was he came to us and he was like showing his stump, and he was asking that, can I get my hand? And I want an Iron Man hand. So that was the changing point, that because we all grew up watching Iron Man, Tony Stark, and how they changed the Marvels and everything, right? We thought, let's give it a try. And after giving it a try, we successfully made a mechanical prosthetic. It was not that bionic, but the happiness on that boy face was like marvelous. And it was like we thought, okay, this is something that we should look upon. And after making one prosthetic, we started receiving a lot of requests from all around the country and outside the country. And that was a very shocking moment for us to know that there are very few companies available in the world, and the cost of prosthetic is very high. And if we talk about the kids, no one is making prosthetic for kids. So that's how we started.
It's quite impressive. So you had a background in robotics, started that business. What about Viscus? Uh, Tell us a bit more about that one because it seems you shifted full time from Viscus to Bionics a couple months ago.
Yeah, so no, actually, the Viscus is the company that makes and provides services related to product designing and development, because we don't have grants or funds available to do research and development in bionics. So what we used to do is we provide services on the platform of Viscus, and the money that we generate goes directly to the bionics so that we can keep our social cause alive. And this is how we kept the bionics funding for so long.
Very interesting. And so it's AI based and brain controlled. Tell us a bit more about that. Like, and how much has been developed internally via stuff that you took from elsewhere in the market and applied it in the business?
So the best part about the best and the worst part about Pakistan and the developing countries is we don't have a lot of manufacturing facilities available. So whatever you have to do is you have to design the complete solution. It has to be software, it has to be hardware. Even if the small screws goes inside the finger, you have to manufacture that screw as well. So that's the reason that it took us a long time to develop such a prosthetic. But the best part is I always say this quote, that if you give a candle factory to produce a bulb, they cannot do it, right? In the whole world, the prosthetic industry, they are following the same steps. But the way we changed it, because we didn't had that exposure of industry in our country, so that is why our product is more superior than what is being manufactured since long time. And the AI part is also there, because we have a lot of challenges because it's a big country and people has to travel all the way to like from 1,500 kilometers to the city to get the prosthetics. So that's why we incorporated AI so that people can easily use our product.
Right. And so what's the business model here? How do you find your clients and why do they come to you?
So, we are the only manufacturer in the country who are making this prosthetic. And there are, if we talk about the worldwide, so there are only 26 manufacturers available in the whole world who are making bionic arms. So we don't have a lot of competition available because the price and the high tech involvement, and then most of the people are unable to wear the prosthetic because it's heavy and not durable enough. So that is the reason that only few companies are there. But we have tested our product in a very, very different kind of environment. So that's why people come to us to buy our product. It's mostly referral basis, as well as now the government has started buying from us directly. So this gives us more advantage because once the government is accepting your product and buying it annually, so it grows very well.
And tell me about the different specifications of the arms. What can they do with the arms? I mean, it must not be like a real hand, as quick as a real hand. For example, we often don't realize the dexterity that we have, but what are the features? Let's say that I don't have an arm. What can I expect from this arm and at what cost?
So the best part is it was really amazing to see our users doing stuff with our prosthetic arm. Although as engineers, when you design something, you don't think beyond that usage part, right? So when for example, our people who are using our product are riding a bicycle, bilateral amputees who does not have both arms, they are riding a bikes, they are driving a car, and it was like we never imagined that somebody can actually do that with our prosthetic. So when we talk about prosthetic, it's just like a tool. So if you give an artist a pencil and you ask them to draw a fancy picture, so they can do it, right? And if you give the same pencil to me and ask to draw any picture, I won't be able to do that. So you have to learn the process. So the prosthetic is just like the same way. So there are few users who are able to achieve a lot of things, but there are few users that find it difficult to use because it cannot replicate your original hand. So that is the reason why we incorporated AI in that. So that with time they learn gradually, and the motivation is the main factor in any prosthetic. So we have to keep them motivated by showing them the pictures and the videos of other users, as well as we form the community around them, so that if somebody is living in some city and we know that there are few beneficiaries and the users available there, so we tend to ask them to meet each other so that they get motivated and moving into the right direction.
And how does it work? If it's brain controlled, like is it electrical impulses? How does it work? And do you really have what kind of dexterity do you have in the fingers?
So mainly if we talk about the brain control, most of the prosthetic works in a same way. Like for example, you have to think of your hand, and when you try to close your fingers, your brain sends signals to your muscles, and then it actuates. So this is the same phenomena that every prosthetics available in the world are doing it. But why we call it brain control is more kind of a psychological part, not the technical part, but the psychological part. Because what happens is the people who lost their limbs, they have a phantom limb. So they can imagine, they can feel even their fingers, they can feel the ticklings and everything. So that is why we call it more towards brain control. And although all the signals come with the electrical impulses, and we use it to amplify the signal and translate into the motion.
That's super impressive. And then how much can I expect to pay such an arm for like 20,000 USD? How does that work?
Oh wow, that's a great question. So what we do is like as we are a social enterprise. So right now the prosthetic that we are selling in Pakistan only cost around $1,700. So that's like that's the bottom that we can go for. And the best part is like as we are a social enterprise, most of the people are still not able to pay the price. So what we do is we do fundraising for them so that we give them prosthetic for free of cost. So this is our social mission, and our vision, long-term vision, is to actually sell the prosthetic, high-end prosthetic, in the same cost, which can be like in US, maybe I can sell it in $6,000 or $7,000, and and I will reduce the cost in all developing countries so that we can create we can make it more accessible to the people.
Right. I love that. How many folks are missing arms in Pakistan? Or let's start with Karachi, for example.
So if Karachi is a very big city, it's around 30 million people living here. And we don't have a lot of good data available here in the hospital and the healthcare system. So roughly, if I talk about the whole country, so it's around 1 million people are living with missing limbs. So, and if I talk about the people who are born with it, so in Pakistan, every day 9 to 11 kids are born without an arm. So that's a big number if you calculate it annually. So they don't have the solution, but now as we are like expanding our operations, so we receive a lot of families like their kids are born and they just after the hospital they come to us and they ask that can you make a prosthetic arm for our little baby, and we say just let him grow. After 4 or 3 years, then we can do something about it. But it gives them a lot of hope.
Right, because how long do you need to wait before you create another of these arms? Let's say that the children you start and you give him a prosthetic arm at 5. When does it need to be replaced?
So the best part is you don't have to replace the whole arm. So it's just a socket. You change it with time. Let's say after 3 years, you have to change it. And as we are working on circular product, so for example, if a kid age is 8 years and if he grows to 11 years and the socket he changes, we can give the same socket to the kid who is 8 years old. So if it size fits, so we don't waste anything, just to reduce the cost as much as possible.
Will you eventually go into prosthetic legs as well, or is arm already complex enough?
So basically, we wanted to go towards legs, but unfortunately, when we started making the prosthetic arms, and after seeing the problem in the industry, so we thought let's do something about the arm first, because I do remember the talk between me and a doctor, orthopedic doctor. He asked me that what kind of device you are building. So I told him that we are making bionic arms. He said, "Don't make arms, make legs." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because poor people lose arms and rich people lose legs, just because they are working in factories and stuff like that. And due to diabetes, people lose their legs. So we didn't want it to lose our social mission. So we decided to make the first prosthetic arm available till the shoulders, and then we have recently moved towards leg, and it's still in the research and development phase.
What is next for you? Like, what do you have on your goals list this year?
So the goal is to expand our business across the globe. We are finding partners, we are finding collaborators so that we can actually expand our business and grow our impact. Because as right now the demand is like very high, and unfortunately, if we talk about the current industry's capability of making prosthetics, it's very slow. So if I give you a very small example of Ukraine, so right now, Ukraine have, after the war, unfortunately, they have 30 to 50,000 amputees, and they have only 5 technicians available who can fit the bionic arms. And it's like they need 5 years to rehabilitate the whole people, like everybody. And if we use our technology, we just need 6 months to do that. So you can see the technology, how it shifted and how we are able to produce it in a larger number. And we don't require any technician to install our prosthetic just because we are using AI.
And the AI, precisely, what is it used for?
So what it does is, like, for example, if you're trying to close your fingers, which finger are you trying to close, and how hard object you are trying to get, like capture, how soft object you are trying to capture. So this is how our AI works, and we all the data is pushed to our cloud system, and then it modified the software, and then you can update your software after every 7 or 10 days. So this makes your arm up and running. And for future product, if we launch a different gestures prosthetic or have like different kind of prosthetic, then we still have the software available there for each individual so that they don't feel like having something different.
That's very cool. At the end of the day, you must have a lot of people thanking you for what you do. So, are you immune to praises nowadays? Like, how do you wake up every day and still keep on making an impact after impacting so many lives?
So I think it's every story is special and it's always moving. We meet kids every day who have lost their friends after the amputation. We meet women every day who got divorced after the amputation. So these are a lot of pains that we see every day. And what makes us feel good about each and every day is that how we are going to impact and change everybody's life. So after giving them a prosthetic, the smile on their face, the motivation on their face brings a lot of joy to us. And that's the only reason we kept ourselves in the same direction since 8 years now.
You recently changed your title to Chief Visionary Officer. Like, what changed here from CEO to Chief Visionary Officer?
So I think that the future is for the vision. It's not about the dealing with operations, day-to-day tasks, because it's mostly automated. So once you have automated this stuff, you need to push the vision at the maximum level. So I think that most of the entrepreneurs are not very good managers. Like they cannot manage things or they cannot do day-to-day tasks. And the vision is the main thing that you have to keep on pushing and driving. And it's not just about one vision, it's about every department vision. For example, if I have a manufacturing department, so I have to vision that how I'm going to make it more smooth, how I'm going to make it more professional, so how I'm going to build better team. So it's the vision is one of the biggest responsibility that entrepreneurs have. So that's why I changed my title to Chief Visionary Officer. And my co-founder just I made him CEO so that he can take care of the daily tasks every day.
Love it. What changed in your life after being featured on Forbes 30 under 30?
So I think it's a lot of things have changed. I have met very good friends recently who got featured in Forbes 30 under 30, as well as the recognition. The is very important because especially when you are doing a social impact work, you are not making a lot of money, right? So the recognition is the only motivation that keeps you going in that direction. So it's very important to receive such a notable achievements, and it keeps you telling that okay, you are in the right direction. You just have to push more so that you can create your impact better.
Right. And then you're a radio jockey at the same time. Like, how do you juggle that?
So I used to do that. I used to do that. I really love to media shows and stuff. I used to do singing as well. But when I started entrepreneurship, it's a totally different journey. It changes you. And the kind of work that we are doing, it's very serious because it's like people's life are is like on stake. And it's like I don't remember last time when I listened any music, just because it's like always pushing towards the motivation. And sometime I need to refresh myself, so I talk to multiple people, friends, so that I can focus myself again.
Love it, Anas. Where can people find out more about you?
So they can find me on LinkedIn. They can go to my Instagram, and they can talk to me if they want any advice, especially if they are running a social enterprise. So I would love to help them out.